So a few NFL retirements to start off training camp. One being a Michael Gallup. This one was definitely more of a surprise out of the three that I'm going to mention. Even the Raiders GM was, quote, "I didn't see this coming at all." He's only played in 6 NFL seasons. He's only 28. And obviously he's a wide receiver, so right now technically he's in his prime age-wise. But I think this is a pretty disappointing news for the Raiders overall. I really think he would have made a great three on this offense with Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, and then obviously Michael Gallup. But yeah, man, he just didn't want it anymore. He probably realized that he just isn't that same guy athletically and health-wise, and that's why a lot of retirements happen the first week of training camp, first month, because sometimes players just have realizations X amount of years deep in their career that they're just not that guy that they once used to be, and they'd rather go out than kind of limp through the rest of their career or be like a shell of who they once used to be. So fair play to Michael Gallup, man. He had some good years on Dallas, underrated years in my opinion. He was always a good three. Pretty disappointing. I liked watching him play. Let me know what y'all think about Michael Gallup, and kind of a tough start to the Raiders training camp and season in general, but still excited to see Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew go at it, Devontae Adams too, two tight ends and Brock Bowers and Mayer, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, Michael Gallup signed a 3-year, $1 million contract with the Raiders April 30th. And like I said, he was supposed to be the number 3 receiver coming into this season. So again, I know he never took a snap for the Raiders. I know he never played, but I still think this is kind of like a big loss. And the fact that they gave him $3 million obviously showed that they had some level of belief in him. And I know, some of you might say $3 million isn't a lot, but it's a lot for a guy that's been injured, and they really wanted him to step in. For his total career, he got 266 passes for 3,744 yards and 21 touchdowns with the Cowboys. That's all she wrote for Michael Gallup, unfortunately. Now another nice player retired about 4 or 5 days ago, Shaquille Barrett. Again, I know he never took a snap for the Dolphins, but I think this is a big loss, especially with Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips both recovering from their injuries from a year ago. He would have stepped in and really would have filled that gap, and I really think he would have been a nice piece on this Dolphins defense, man. Shaq Barrett has had a hell of a career, in my opinion. Started off with the Broncos, really good player there, and obviously went to Tampa Bay. He got 19 and a half sacks in 2019. This dude has just been really, really productive. Ask any Bucs fan, man. He's been a beast since day one. It's crazy that the Broncos let him go in the first place. Undrafted out of Colorado. Just a hell of a player. One of the best undrafted players in kind of the recent era of the NFL. Also Super Bowl champion with the Broncos. He had a total career of 59 sacks. Not bad at all, man. Not bad at all. And of course, he won a Super Bowl with Tampa Bay as well. So 2-time Super Bowl champion, 59 career sacks. Hell of a career, hell of a player. And also, he dealt with a tragedy earlier this year. So I feel like that definitely had to do with something with his decision of retiring like this. He's only 31, so still, as a pass rusher, another prime age for pass rushers, and sucks to see him go because he was entertaining to watch, made some big plays, made some big sacks, but you gotta do what you gotta do, and thanks for the memories. And let me know what y'all think about Shaq Barrett. Were you a fan of him? Were you not a fan of him? And I kind of think this is like a foreshadow for the Dolphins defense and maybe this Dolphins team as a whole. I just really think the Dolphins defense is going to be really, really weak this year. I mean, to go from Vic Fangio to whoever their defensive coordinator now is obviously a major downgrade. And with Jalen Phillips being out to start the year, that's kind of rough. I just don't know how good this Dolphins defense is going to be. I know it's definitely going to be a lot weaker than what it was a year ago. Again, I can't reiterate this enough. Vic Fangio is a hell of a defensive coordinator. So I think we're really going to see the aftermath of not having him kind of run the defense. And speaking of the Dolphins just as a whole, they still have that Tua thing to figure out. Please, I'm not even a Dolphins fan, but just don't do that. I like Mike McDaniel. I like Tyreek Hill. Jalen Waddle is obviously fun to watch. Their running back room is the best in the NFL. Do not sign Tua. Just don't do it. I don't want to say any quarterback can come in and be successful on this offense, but all I'm saying is he's got a ton of support, whoever does come in. You got Mike McDaniel. You got two great wide receivers. You have an amazing running backs. You play in a warm weather environment. There's just so many assets and just support to succeed. I just think giving Tua a contract before this year starts specifically is insane. Hypothetically, if he were to come out clean with a clean bill of health once the 2024-2025 year concludes, fair play. If you want to give him some dough, that's fine by me, but at least see how this year plays out first. Am I wrong for that take? Would you pay him now? Let me know in the comments. And one last retirement, Kenyon Drake has announced his retirement about a week ago. 8 years in the NFL, started with the Dolphins, obviously known for that last-second miracle Miami play, I believe like in 2019 or 2018, when Gronk kind of messed up last second, took a bad angle, and Drake just outran him, and the Dolphins won at the very last second. I think he was low-key underrated. He had one really, really good year in Arizona 2020. I actually had him on my fantasy team that year. Played great with Kyler. And he was also good on the Dolphins when he started his career, but after that 1 year with the Cardinals in 2020, he went to the Raiders, and then he kind of bounced around a little bit, and then that was pretty much it. And that's the thing, too, like 8 years in the NFL, it's not a lot for the Shaq Barretts or the Michael Gallups, but for an NFL running back, 8 years is essentially an eternity. And obviously he didn't have it anymore, and yeah, man. Fun little player to watch. Good for him, retiring. Hoping the best for all three of them post-retirement. I know it could be tough, especially for an NFL player. You know, you do something for 30 plus years, 20 plus years, since you were 8 years old, 6 years old, and all of a sudden you're not that guy anymore, you're not that thing, you're not a superhero anymore. It'd be tough, man. But let me know what y'all think about these retirements. Who is your favorite player out of the three? And yeah, that's all I got for right now. Peace.
It is heartbreaking, and it has to be heartbreaking for the defense right now.
The Lions from the 27. Has the reception all alone.
Well, the corner route. Some people call it the corner route. They call it a flag. Run to the flag of the end zone. Or a 7 route. Odd numbers break out. That time we see a nice route by the receiver and a good throw by the quarterback. Sometimes when you have a player with this kind of talent, you're willing to put up with a few drop passes because when he catches it, he has a chance of going all the way.
Second and goal from the 5.
Throws the pass.
Johnson's met after a gain of 3. They're just grinding away down here, inching closer to the end zone.
Well, that's what you got to do sometimes. It's hard always to think that you're going to come out and just make big plays. You got to do the dirty work, and this offense is doing it right now. What a job by the defense down on the goal line. They were playing run all the way. It was a run. They got the penetration, and they tackled the runner for a loss.
The Seahawks defense now is going to go nickel. Has it. Touchdown.